So I'm Kiki and this is Ola.
Hi.
Hi Ola. Thank you for coming. So Ola is from Russia/New Zealand/Germany. And so I released my previous video about how I got divorced and became homeless. And she happens to be in the same exact situation. Divorced and homeless.
Now you make it sound so bad. It's not as bad. It's not.
You're so happy.
That's not the usual reaction people get when they're divorced and homeless, but you're very different.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we wanted to talk about how happily divorced, still happy about our previous marriage, and happily homeless. Yeah, you have also been married for 5 years, right?
Yes. Yep.
So can you tell me a little feeling about your marriage and ex-husband?
Yeah. It's very interesting. Before I was watching your video and we had a conversation about that, and your video and your story resonate a lot with me because I haven't really met many women or men who have been through the similar process. The marriage to my husband is the best thing that ever happened to me. He's the best person there has ever been in my life, and I'm very, very grateful for the times, but also decision to make the step and separate amicably was also the best decision. It's been very, very difficult to make this decision, but I think I'm very, very lucky and I'm very proud of us to make it in such a mature way, in such a respectful way. We decided to call it, or not to call it, but it's conscious uncoupling. When you sit down together and you consciously uncouple, take into account feelings, take into account your lifestyle, your boundaries and your wants and needs in life. It's a lot probably easier just to smash the door, tell someone to screw themselves and leave. It's a lot more difficult when you sit on the floor holding each other, crying, telling each other that you love them, but still nevertheless making a decision. I still love him. I still have a very, very good relationship with him. But at the same time, I think there was a time in my life where both of us were having a fulfilling relationship. We were very happy. And then it was going down and then we didn't want to wait. And we really tried to fix it and really tried to talk about it, what we want, and we realized it doesn't align. And then instead of trying really hard and wait for it to really go down and us really ending on a low note, we decided to finish on a high note. And not saying that we didn't want to fix it, we really, really tried, but realizing that it's not possible because unfortunately, I think the biggest lesson for me has been love is not enough.
Love is not enough. Oh.
Not enough, because even if you love someone and you really, really try, realize there is a lot more things that you need to take into account. So now our relationship is still there. I still love him, but in a different way. Yeah. So our relationship has evolved into something different.
Oh wow, I love that word. Evolved.
Yeah. There's sometimes I still kind of have like a tear, regretting what could have been there, imagining what could have been, but at the same time letting it go, because when you really, really love someone, you want them happy, and you realize that you can't make them happy, and they can't make you happy, because I think in our society really celebrates people that have been together for 30 years, but not those people who had short but memorable time. But there are lots of couples that live together for a long time or stay together for kids, and they hate each other. I think it's a lot more difficult decision to end an unhappy relationship and not to pretend, because it's a difficult decision. It's a lot easier to stay there than to end it.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's a lot easier to stay. Like you wanted to get divorced when you were high note. Explain.
Yeah, for sure. So I think for us, when people ask me why did you separate, it's never one answer. It's not that it was because of cheating, because of being because of financial or because of disrespect or gaslighting. No, it's, if you look at that, it's been good and it's been a supportive person. He's an amazing person. He's very he had created the person I am today. I know for sure that neither myself, neither my business, nor my achievements would have not been there without him. And I'm very, very grateful for that. So he's given, I feel like he's given me more than I have given to him. And
I agree on that too.
Yeah, so we're just sitting here praising our ex-husbands, you know, that's wonderful. I hope they're not watching that, you know.
Well, I hope my ex-husband would watch
Okay, maybe
this.
one day he'll also watch mine. So nevertheless, I feel that you don't want to drag for too long and blaming each other for not having a good relationship. So I think sometimes you pretend that everything is okay for a long time, and I think we have pretended for quite some time.
Yeah, exactly. I spent 6 months discussing whether if you should get divorced or continue on this relationship. And like you said, it could have gone like so much longer, and like for another year, a few years, 10 years. But we didn't, like, I didn't want to start to hate him, or I didn't want him to start to hate me, because I really like him and I really care about him and I really love him. So I didn't want to take a risk to be in a, like, to end up in a horrible relationship.
Yeah, and that's very sad when people end up hating each other after, you know, being together for such a long time, being such a big part of each other's lives, and suddenly you cut it and feel like the limb is missing because the person is such an important, you know, sure, there are some ugly situation happening, but there was a time when a person been everything. It was very refreshing to hear your story, because I haven't met many people who were in the same situation. I only heard of very ugly breakups, and it's kind of like the being on a bus, and then some people get on, some people get off, and you continue driving, and then whoever stays, sometimes we'll have the final destination together. Sometimes we go different directions.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much, Ola.
Thank you for the inspiration, and like changing the stigma, because I think divorce, it's not as should not be as stigmatized as it is. You know, should be also celebrated that you've had this time together and you're respectful, and then let's celebrate to a different stage.
Yeah, celebration. No, thank you.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone. Bye. Divorced and homeless.